And we are live on a Sunday night, a week early, but we're still here. Welcome in, everybody. We are here tonight with our very good special friend, Heather, the Cocktail Contessa. We absolutely love when we get to have her on and make some delicious drinks.
And we have a good occasion for it this time, don't we?
We do. Teresa, since you are more familiar with the occasion in this challenge, why don't you give us some information?
Yes. So over on Instagram, there is an account called the Hip Flask Hiking Club. And they were actually started over in Scotland. And one of the guys that I know who was a part of getting it going is Bryce Simpson. And he is the national rep for Ardbeg and Glenmorangie here in Canada. And so I see what they do. And last year they did this thing where they had a whiskey ice cream float challenge. It's a heck of a long hashtag, but it was so much fun. And so they're doing it again this year. There are some prizes, and they run it for 2 weeks from the middle of July to the end of July. And so because the last Sunday of the month is July 31st, and that's normally when we would do our live stream, that doesn't give us a chance to do everything and have fun and then get pictures up to enter to maybe win prizes. So, I mean, the prizes are just, I don't even know what they are, but there are prizes.
The prizes are prizes, okay?
Well, so I challenged Heather. I started talking smack right away, and
as you do,
we're gonna go head to head on this and see who can come up with the best concepts, because I just like to have fun, and Heather is awesome with the cocktails. So, and she's like, well, if we do that, it should be a live stream. And I'm like, well, let me talk to Sarah, because we kind of need to come up with an idea.
And here you go. It's whiskey float day, whiskey lipstick.
Ice cream and whiskey. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, it's summertime.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. So that's where this all came about. Talking smack on Instagram. And honestly, I didn't know about this challenge or even that particular Instagram page until you brought it up. And I went over and I looked at the stuff that they had posted, and there's some pretty good little drink ideas posted over there. And I didn't steal any. So
well, I mean, a float technically is just ice cream. A whiskey float would be whiskey, ice cream, and something carbonated. So really, sky's the limit. I mean, if you think of all the different kind of carbonated beverages out there now, not just like Sprite and Coke, but innumerable seltzers, beers, ciders,
Even on top of that, how many kinds of ice cream are there?
Oh, exactly.
There are tons of ice creams out there. We walked up and down the aisle of the grocery store last night, and I was just like, ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. I could do that with that. Endless, really. And if you're really thoughtful about it, you could pair ice cream and whiskey perfectly. And what are you doing? Oh,
it'll be better once we have our floats. We all have our floats.
Of course,
we'll take one with the floats in our hands. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're right, Heather. The possibilities are endless, and I'm curious to see what you guys got.
Me too. I can't wait to see what you all come up with. You always say that you're not very good at cocktails, and then you all always have such a great time and come up with some great combinations.
This isn't a cocktail. This isn't a cocktail in my eyes. This is ice cream with whiskey.
Even easier. It's hard to screw that up, right?
Right. I can do this one.
Yeah.
So are we ready to get started on our first one and what we've got going on? Or Heather, did you want to talk about some techniques?
Some float tips? Yes.
Tips.
Some float tips. We all float down here. After you put that hashtag on there, Teresa, all I can do is think of it, and it's showing up in my Netflix screen, right? So I'm like, I'm going to have to watch that after this. But some tips for working with whiskey floats for those of you who are entering the contest. I have an article coming up in Bourbon Plus, and we have a kitty who is this?
Weasley.
Hi, Weasley. Perfect with the orange and white kitty. And there are some tips in that article that I'll share with you guys tonight. And the biggest thing with floats is to make sure everything is very, very cold, from your glassware to whatever seltzer or carbonated content you're using, and making sure, you want your ice cream to be soft enough to scoop, but you still do want it to be pretty cold. So always start with your glassware in the freezer. And I gave these ladies the tip to do that as well. So they've got their glasses. Yeah, they're ready for it. And then the other tip that came up when I was talking about it with some people who it's not a live stream unless there's a cat appearance. And now I'm completely distracted. The other thing that we had talked about, that I talk about in the article, is the way to build it is to put all of your cocktail ingredients together first without dilution in the bottom of the cup or the glass that you're using that's been chilled. Add your ice cream on top. And then, and when you do that, add a little bit of the carbonated element as well. And so the bubbles, when they come in contact with the ice cream, will start to foam up. And so if the foam doesn't make it all the way up to the top of your glass, you pour in a little extra carbonated until it gets that nice head of foam on top.
So just to clarify, you're saying essentially we're going to put the whiskey and some of the carbonated at the bottom of the glass, and then, okay. That was kind of, when you wrote it, I was like, so are we just putting the whiskey at the bottom since you were pouring the carbonated on top? So I wanted to clarify.
So the best way to do it is to I usually put about half of what I think I'll need, because the carbonation reacts differently to different ice creams. So some ice creams that have like chunks in them and swirls and a lot of different texture, they will foam up more than something that's really smooth and really creamy. So that's sort of, it's sort of an unknown factor depending on what kind of ice cream you guys end up using. Yeah. So for me, what I ended up buying in terms of ice cream was banana French toast, amber whiskey cake, which I have never even seen before, rainbow sherbet, because I thought this would be nice with whiskey and maybe champagne as a topper. I don't know. And then brookie, which is chocolate with brownie and cookie. And this one, I have a very favorite. I have one that I made, a float that I made for St. Patrick's Day. And it was chocolate ice cream and Irish whiskey and stout beer. And
I actually saw that one when I was
fabulous.
Yeah, but I'm not a huge beer drinker anymore. So I was like, I don't know about that for me. But I saw that because I was, I love my Irish. So I wanted to use an Irish.
Yeah.
But I went a different route.
Well, and why don't you talk about what you're thinking with yours?
Well, I bought just a plain vanilla. I bought a sherbet vanilla swirl, and I bought a black cherry. And I've got 2 bourbons and an Irish that I'm going to mix with them individually. One's going to be just a regular root beer float with whiskey. And then I'm going to make like an orange cream with bourbon. And then I'm going to make the cherry with a Napogue Castle finished in Barolo, which is a wine cask that is very, very forward. So I thought it would mesh well.
That sounds fabulous. Teresa, we didn't get to hear what you got in terms of ice cream.
Well, I'm keeping a little bit more simple, but I did have one that I think is it's going to be my little secret weapon one. So I've got vanilla and chocolate, but then I also got Tin Roof Sundae, and then I got some Drambuie, and I've got some Scotch. And of course, Drambuie and Scotch is a rusty nail. And I figured if I do Tin Roof Sundae, I've got Tin Roof Rusted.
Oh, there you go. Man, that's a fantastic idea.
That's really good.
That is one that I'm going to build to as being my Tin Roof Rusted is going to be my my big finish, I think, or at least at some point. But I've got a few other things. I've got a a mule, like a ready to drink mule thingy to do ginger. So I'm going to do a Jamie and ginger. And then I got chocolate stuff. And then I made, have you ever done ice cream in a bag? You do homemade ice cream in a bag?
I've read about it.
I've seen it. I'd never tried it. So I'm like, I'm going to try that. And I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but I made it. I then had a whiskey ball mold. So I put it into a bowl. So I'm going to do an old-fashioned ice cream. Old-fashioned
ice cream. I like it.
I put bitters into the ice cream.
You put bitters in them? Okay.
I put bitters in the ice cream.
I'm afraid it's going to melt.
So, and I just realized bring down any straws or spoon, which is going to see, I need to run. So I'm going to just mute everything off for a few seconds, but I will be right back. So you guys go ahead, get started, and I'll be back.
Okay, we'll be here.
Okay.
Well, what I wanted to start with first was an old-fashioned one. And one of the things that we didn't talk about was instead of just using plain whiskey, you can actually make a cocktail and do something more like what she's talking about, which is put those flavors, in with the actual cocktail itself. And I have not tried this whiskey cake, so I'm going to do an old-fashioned float, I think. Oh, that's really good. It has a little bit of a whiskey taste to it. I'm sure it doesn't have any whiskey in it. But what I want to do is make a basic old-fashioned and then put that in the bottom with a little bit of, I haven't decided if I want to do ginger ale or some other kind of carbonated beverage, and put this ice cream in with it. What do you think?
Do you have ginger beer?
Yeah.
Maybe ginger beer.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Although the ginger beer will be a little bit more bite to it. So I don't know. I'm going to try it. This is all experimental, right?
Yeah.
I haven't planned any of this out. That's why it's kind of by the seat of my pants today.
That's okay. Sometimes you find the best recipes that way.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
I learned that when, I'm cooking in the kitchen sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to start building my root beer float one.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the Maker's Mark. And I'm making tiny ones, guys, because that's a lot of ice cream otherwise. And I know I have William here, but he's not huge on ice cream. So he's not going to be like being able to finish these up like many of the other cocktails that we've made.
All right. I'm going to do my root beer float too, I think.
Okay.
Your root beer first. Okay, I'm going to try the old-fashioned one first. I just need to get some simple syrup.
So, Heather, when you take a small glass like this, how much whiskey would you suggest to put in?
If that's about a half, I would do an ounce and a half, or 3/4 ounce of whiskey, probably. If you're just going to do like a half one, do 3/4 ounce of whiskey, maybe 2 ounces of your carbonated elements, and then you should be good.
Total, or does that include pour over?
It depends on how much it foams up after you. So remember when I said you're going to put about half of it in there, and then decide.
So I'll put an ounce in, about an ounce of the root beer in, and then go from there.
Yeah,
I put that in one of my ingredients. Crap.
What do you miss? I'm missing bitters, so I have to go grab bitters real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to go back. I was doing a peanut butter and root beer float.
Oh,
so
yeah. Did you get Screwball? Something of the like.
I bought a local one I was going to use. It's called Sheepdog. So I'm going to go and try that. So I'm going to be right back as well.
Excellent.
We're all disappearing on and off camera to get the ingredients that we don't have.
I don't know, everybody's preferences on root beer, but A&W is the way to go in my house. Nothing else is allowed in. I'm the only one that drinks it, but this is the best root beer there is.
So that's all that matters. If you're the only one who drinks it, you have to get the kind that you like best.
Exactly.
Okay, this is going to be, let me see if I can mute this. Is that muted? Can you hear me?
I can mute you.
Can you mute me for just a second? I need to get some ice.
Wave at me when you're ready to get back. So Yeah, it looks like it's just me. What's up, everybody? Give me a napkin, please. My sous chef is offside. So I've got my whiskey and my root beer in my glass. You ready, Heather? And so I'm going to give these a little stir, yeah?
Yeah. You don't, if it has carbonated in it, don't stir it very much. Just do kind of a lifting motion. Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it fizz or anything in there.
All right, perfect.
And since I'm doing small, I've got my small little cookie scooper here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to put a couple scoops in.
All right, I'm going to try this out.
Okay.
That's good. So it turns out the simple syrup that I'm using has a little bit of a honey taste to it. So I think that's going to go really well with the whiskey cake.
So I don't have very much fizz there, so I'm going to go ahead and pour some more of my root beer over this. Get some fizz going on. Got myself a nice little.
I've got an actual
Straw's too long.
Sundae glass.
Nice.
Cool. Eyeballing everything for my measurements.
Oh, that looks like, see, look how much foam you get just after putting that much ice cream in it.
Well, I put a little bit of root beer on top.
Perfect.
And it looks like it's good for me.
Is that a good single serving?
It looks like it. It's about half the glass, give or take.
All right. So I've got my sheepdog peanut butter whiskey with my Woodford Reserve, because I figured that the Woodford Reserve is going to have like a little bit of a kind of a chocolatey kind of a note in it.
It's the double oaked, it looks like, actually.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice together just with that. I've got the ginger beer in there as well. This is going to be this is going to be my full size one. It's going to be way too much dairy for me to have.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to finish like any of these, but I'm still going to.
Okay.
All right. Put the ice cream back down there.
Now for this one, what I'm going to do for garnish, I was thinking about a caramel drizzle, but instead I've got these candied orange slices from Trader Joe's. And since this is a riff on old fashioned, I think that's what I'm going to do for this one.
I thought about trying to organize myself with some garnish stuff, and I don't know how much of that's going to actually work, but.
Oh, that looks good. Can you guys see that?
Oh, very, you've got nice parfait glasses too.
Yeah, I found some because I was going to do so. I did some photography for it for an ice cream shoot, and I needed to be able to make sundaes.
Oh, we lost Sarah.
Did we lose? Well, okay, so yours looks really good.
Yeah, I had like these little mini.
Are they mini glasses?
They're little beer tasting glasses from Beer Fest when I went with a friend a few years ago. So I was like, it's like, if I'm going to do a root beer float.
You got to make it look a little bit fancy.
Exactly.
I've got to take a picture of that. That's so cute. Hang on.
My stupid interwebs.
Oh.
Did you get kicked off?
I got kicked off.
You got kicked off. I thought since this is a peanut butter root beer, I wasn't doing much for garnishes for anything, but I did get peanut butter Reese's cups.
Oh, what a good idea!
Except it doesn't stand on top very well.
This is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see yours. Oh, wow.
Problem with this is you could see the mess behind me on the table. Oh, that's really good. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I really like that. But I didn't make
Teresa.
any of this in advance. Like this is all like R&D, right? So this is all completely
Do you want to try?
Mm.
trying it out. You know what? I think if I did this again, I would not use the ginger beer.
It was too
No?
much.
Yeah, it's too much. I should have just used ginger ale.
My bad.
Mm-mm.
See, that's
it's
why
just-
we wanted to do this before the end of the month, so that we have time to kind of refine everything after we, actually go through the process of making them for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I think for this, if I were going to make this for a competition, I would also garnish it with a little bit of probably like a little caramel drizzle on top. And then maybe some, I'm trying to think if I don't think I have any, just a little bit of fresh nutmeg.
Ooh.
Mm.
And I think those two, because when you work with ice cream has to be sweeter than it normally would be if it were liquid because it's frozen, right? So anything that's super cold, it tamps down the volatile, so you can't smell it really well, and the sweetness gets reduced a lot. So I think if you added, so to me, when I'm working with something with ice cream, it doesn't have a whole lot of nose to it. So I kind of want to add something to it to make it smell better.
Right.
Gotcha. Teresa, are you just having fun with the science experiment?
I am. Because half the fun with the root beer float is when it would like spill over, and so like you have to have a bowl.
I know. This is good.
That's why I made mine smaller.
Yes.
Okay.
I think. Can you see my cat, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Oh,
Pip.
yes.
Pip thinks she gets ice cream.
Is that Mama? No.
No. But we have 3 cats of our own, and then Mama's upstairs with 7 kittens.
Gotcha.
Or Jennifer is all jealous because she doesn't have ice cream. We told you this was ice cream float night.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But it's something now. You have an excuse or a reason to go and
You ever feel like you need a reason to buy ice cream?
Okay, this is what I would do if I'm doing development on my own. I'm going to pour out the ginger beer and add a little bit more ice cream and just do whiskey and some ginger ale and see what I think. So hang tight. This is exactly, I'm just going to, not going to look pretty, but.
Ooh.
This is really foamy.
So I actually don't know if we can get Screwball. I think it is now available up in Canada. It wasn't for the longest time. And so, like I said, I picked up a little mini of Sheepdog, but I do have a friend that had some Screwball and they gave me a sample.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more peanut buttery than the Sheepdog. The Sheepdog has almost a caramel kind of a essence to it. I mean, it's still peanut butter, but it's almost like peanut butter and caramel or peanut butter and honey or something.
When I taste Screwball, to me, it tastes I get a lot of butterscotch on it.
Mm.
For whatever reason.
The Sheepdog has more of that. It's kind of leans more in that direction than it's really, really good. I think it works really well with the A&W root beer. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like maybe I chose A&W just because it's a classic, but I'm almost wondering if Barks, because it would have that little bit more umph to it, if it might kind of get some of that
Barks
sweetness.
To me has a more licorice base to it, and I'm not a fan of that.
A&W are not
closer to the cream soda vibe to it.
Yes.
This comes out very well.
See, it is Jennifer. Okay. Hi, Jen. So Jen is the one who gave me the sample of the Screwball.
Hey, Jen. Thank you for doing that.
Sorry, the picture is so small. I didn't recognize that it was Jen. So actually,
Jen.
Jennifer and I are going on a trip in August. We're going to be heading out to Ontario. We're going to be visiting a bunch of distilleries down there. And that is going to be my summer distillery tour adventure this year. Instead of sticking in Alberta, we're going to go to Ontario. We're hitting JP Weiser's. We get to spend half a day with Dr. Dawn. I'm like so excited for that.
That's amazing.
It is. All right.
Okay, so this is much better. So to fix this, I use the same bourbon, but I added a little bit of Ballatin caramel turtle. I don't know if you guys have had this before.
Mm-mm.
They make different flavored whiskeys. This one tastes like a caramel turtle. So a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of caramel, like the turtles are a pecan covered with caramels and then enrobed in chocolate. And so I added that to some Evan Williams and topped it with Ale 8, which is basically a Kentucky version of ginger ale.
Right.
Yep.
All right. I'm trying to decide what I want to move on to next. And I think maybe I'm going to do my old-fashioned one as my next one, just so I don't end up getting too stuck with it. So I got to see if I can get my ice cream ball out of my ice mold.
Ooh, that's going to be fun to watch on live stream.
I know. I'm like, I should do this ahead of time. And then I'm like, oh.
Hey, look at that. It came out perfectly.
It's well, half of it's there.
Okay, which one should I do next?
Well, before we do that, how would you rate your first one? Oh my God, it came out perfect.
It's like totally perfect. And and there's
my first one.
This one is for it's from lot 40, not lot 40, 40 Creek. And the stamp, the 40 Creek stamp actually shows up in the ice cream.
Can we see it?
Let me see if I can make it bigger so we can see.
Oh, yes. Don't drop it.
Oh, it flipped upside down.
I can see it. Oh, that is so cool. That's so cool.
That's really cool. That reminds me of Andalusia. If you ever go to Andalusia, the distillery down in Blanco, when they make you a drink that goes over a cube of ice, they actually stamp the Andalusia into the ice before they put the drink together. It's kind of cool.
I was just at the bar at Willett, and they do that.
Shameless plug.
Have you been to Willett? Yeah.
No. So I'm going to make my orange one next. And what do you think? Should I use Sprite with it, or should I use orange Fanta with it for my fizzy?
You said your ice cream is vanilla with an orange swirl? How much do you love orange? Because if you want to make it really orangey,
I like orange.
But it would be nice if you had a second flavor element in there.
Yeah, like the Sprite.
Now the Sprite will give it a little bit of citrus. And a lot of extra sweetness. What's the choice? Orange soda or Sprite?
Yeah, that's or just plain seltzer water. But
that doesn't sound very exciting to me. Actually,
no, it doesn't.
No. I would personally do it with orange soda, but that's because I think orange swirl ice cream tastes mostly like vanilla with a little bit of orange. What have you got there, Teresa?
Jones soda.
Yes. It's good.
Do you guys have Jones soda in the U.S.?
Uh-huh.
So when you take off their lids, they have fortune cookie sayings underneath the lids on the Jones sodas. Nice. So this is my old-fashioned ice cream. I'm making an old-fashioned. There's bitters in the ice cream, and I'm using old-fashioned-ish cream soda as my topper, and I used lot 40 dark oak ice cream.
So I'm using just a Four Roses single barrel with this. So with my orange swirl. So
do you get citrus notes from that single barrel?
I do a little bit. I don't have very many bourbons in the house that aren't
single barrel or barrel proof.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the same problem, which is why I'm half bourbon and half other stuff. I'm going to go for the chocolate. It's brookie ice cream, so it has brownies, cookies. I'm going to do it with a stout beer, but I don't know which kind of whiskey to use. Do you think I should just go ahead and double down on the double oak Whistler?
Oh,
I mean, go.
I think the double oak would be good with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's what I'll do.
Jen's getting ahead of the game here. She's saying that a smoky Scotch with ice cream would be yum, and I've got a couple of those planned out.
She's saying that what would be yummy?
Smoky Scotch.
Oh yeah, I've got Ardbeg out just to play with.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should use Ardbeg with this because the stout's going to be able to have a little bit of that malty smokiness.
Yeah, that could work.
I have the Wee Beastie.
Well, we did find in our last
time,
our last episode, the Wee Beastie did some amazing things.
I'll try it. I mean, this is all about experimentation, right?
Manhattans.
That was a good Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good Manhattan.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep. I was reading somewhere. It was funny because we did all of that with the Manhattans, and then like a week later, somebody was saying, I can't remember. There's a Scotch cocktail that is basically the equivalent of a Manhattan just made with Scotch, but it's called something different. And for the life of me, I don't remember what it's called. Is it the Rob Roy?
I think so, yeah.
Or yeah, something like that. So I'm like, oh, well, that's basically what we did.
That's basically what we did.
And of course, it tasted awesome. I wasn't sure how this was going to actually turn out because it really didn't start fizzing all that much, but it tastes damn good. It eventually got a little bit of a head going on it. I think maybe because it's not a traditional ice cream, and because I had the ball frozen. It's not like when you rip ice cream and pull it out of the carton, you have all that kind of, it's textured. The ice cream is more textured when you scoop it, right? But this is still really, really good.
All righty. So this one is, see, now I have a little bit of a nice head on that one. That's without adding any extra. This is kind of a half one. So now I've got.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it smells so good. It smells so smoky.
Yeah.
So this is mine. Mine doesn't have a whole lot.
Oh, that's so pretty.
It doesn't have a whole lot of a head on it either, but it could be because it's sherbet instead of whole ice cream, because it's sherbet with vanilla flavored ice cream. So, but I think it looks pretty. I like it.
I think it's nice.
Let's see how it tastes.
This is really smoky right now, but I'm going to let it sit for a minute because it has that cream in it. And I'm wondering if the cream's going to soften that smokiness.
It might. See,
because it did some unusual things last time.
There's one of the ones that I'm planning, but I think I'm planning to use my Longrow in it, but it's one that it does better if it sits. So that's my Glencairn pour is my Longrow. So it's sitting and getting ready so I can pour it into my tin roof rusted.
I'm half tempted just to see because this tastes really good. It actually goes really well with the Four Roses, in my opinion. But I'm tempted to actually put a little bit of a chocolate drizzle on it because orange and chocolate always goes good.
Oh, they do. Now, did you end up using the orange or the Sprite?
The orange.
The orange. And you do like it with that?
Yeah. I like it. You like it? William liked it. And he's not a big orange soda person.
I should put some, if I'm going to go in with this chocolate one, I should go all in with the chocolate and add some hot fudge on this chocolate thing. If I can get this open. Ooh.
So I put a little bit of chocolate on top just to see.
What'd you think?
I haven't drank it yet. Should have cut my straws.
Oh, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, yeah. Even better.
I think I'm going to, I was going to do my chocolate because y'all were talking about chocolate. And then I'm like, no, you know what? I think I'm going to do my Jamie and ginger next. And then I'll do.
And remind me what the Jamie and ginger one's going to be.
So the Jamie and ginger is just because, it's such a classic cocktail or for a highball. So I'm doing vanilla. Oh, crap. I'm doing this in the wrong order. You gave instructions and I'm not following them.
Put the whiskey in first.
Put the whiskey in first. I got my Jamesons, which I stuck into the freezer. This
Perfect.
is one of my little mini beer steins.
So, Teresa, Jennifer wants to know, do you prefer scoop of ice cream or the frozen ice cream ball?
I don't know. I think you get more of that foaming action when you do like the scoop, but there's something kind of cool about that ice cream ball and then kind of mixing it up into everything that's actually kind of funky. So I don't know. I kind of think the funk factor really swings me in that direction. All right. So whiskey, ice cream.
Yeah, I would have never thought to make an ice cream ball and use that.
So I don't know what this ice cream in a bag thing is that you guys are talking about.
So I don't even know where I first heard about it, but basically
elementary school.
I saw it wasn't until I was saw something online a few years ago. But you take half and half, so 10% milk fat cream, or I think it's a 10%, not the 18. So half and half, and then you add some sugar and vanilla usually, and then if you had another flavor that you wanted to add. So I put a little bit of vanilla and some bitters. I use blood orange bitters. And then you seal it all in your little Ziploc bag. And then you put it inside a bigger Ziploc bag with ice, and you add a 1/4 cup of salt to the ice so that it super cools.
Oh, okay.
And then you just shake it for 5 to 10 minutes. And it basically makes soft serve in the little bag. So then you rinse the little bag off afterwards and you can just eat the ice cream out of the bag.
So we did that. I could swear we did that in elementary school in science, because it was a chemical reaction type thing that they were showing you how, this chemical reaction happened and whatnot. And so that was a science project that we did, and then we got to eat our ice cream if it all came out right.
The best kind of science is the kind you can eat or drink later.
Yes, exactly.
So if I were going to make this for a competition, this one, I would do probably 1.5 ounces of the Irish whiskey and just a topper of Ardbeg right on the very top, maybe 1/4 half ounce,
like a floater,
just like a float. Because I like the sweetness that's happening now that it's kind of melted a whole lot, but I think initially all that smoke really competed with the sweetness. Right. Yeah.
I bet you
this is really smoky.
Did you use? What kind of ice cream did you use?
Chocolate ice cream.
I bet you if you could find a honey or a honey lemon or some sort of ginger, it would almost be like having a penicillin.
Probably, yeah. But I think in this case, the Ardbeg was just the Wee Beastie was too smoky. Yeah. All
right, I'm going in with my mule.
Although I really like this ice cream. I've never had this ice cream either. It's got chunks of brownie and cookie in it.
Mine's almost gone.
Ooh. It's pretty tasty.
Really good.
Yeah, I'm just doing the vanilla ice cream with the Jamesons and then that ginger mule on top. and it's just tasty.
The nice thing about just using vanilla is you don't have a lot of other flavors to compete with the whiskey.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a good idea to use that. But I couldn't turn down to anything that said Bananas Foster on it.
Oh goodness, no! Like that just sounds awesome.
No, and you know one that might have gone good with that is a lot of people get banana on Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I get it on Old Forester 86.
Old Forester too. Yeah, I don't get it on either of them. I'm weird, but a lot of people are like, Jack Daniels, all I get is banana. I'm like, no.
I don't get that on Jack Daniels very much. With just white label?
Yeah, just number 7.
Oh, number 7. Just Jack.
I never did, and then all of a sudden, a couple years ago, I think it was at a bar, and all of a sudden, it just it was there, and I'm like, oh, okay. And sometimes I find it, and sometimes I don't. It's kind of weird that way.
Yeah.
You're still over there playing with your float, and Heather and I are like, we're done. That was good. Next.
I love that she has like a bull to catch the runoff. Like,
well, then she gets to drink that later too.
Yes.
Well, no, when she sticks her straw in the bowl and starts drinking straight out of the bowl. Say it like that, yeah.
You gotta have fun with it, right? Like that's
the whole absolutely
thing.
One of the things I was thinking of trying was almost like a spritz with a sherbet on top. Ooh. And then doing a float of Prosecco. I have some mini bottles of Prosecco. I also got 2 small bottles of, what are they called? Hang on. It's a certain type of beer. Hang on. It's Linnemann's. Oh, it's raspberry lambic beer. So I have their raspberry and their peach. And I like to take these and put these on top of rye sours, actually. I take what I would normally put in the bottom of a highball and use this instead of seltzer water for the actual carbonation.
Interesting.
And that would go really well over that sherbet as well. So now I'm second guessing myself on that.
I think I'm going to do my chocolate one next, just because I went and got that chocolate, the chocolate shells for putting on ice cream, and used it to coat the inside. I also had like a cherry syrup that I had made a while ago for something else. So I froze a little bit of it on an angle, and then I coated chocolate inside. So
you're being all fancy.
She is being fancy.
And it's like
she just got to remember to take a picture before we're done then.
Right? I've taken a picture of the 2 I've made so far.
I think I'm going to have to recreate the ones that I wanted to take pictures of because they just turn into a soupy mess far too quick.
Yeah.
Well, you continue to pour the carbonation.
Well, I will.
That's the
fun
part. That is the fun part.
Here's some tips on taking pictures of stuff with ice cream. Take your ice cream and scoop it. Put it on wax paper in the freezer. And don't assemble it until everything is set for how you're going to shoot it. Like have the lighting right, have everything styled, have a stand in place, like have a double glass. Like if I had 2 of these glasses, I would have one in the freezer ready to be built, and the other one I would have set down to be taking pictures of it. And then the other thing is if you use chilled glasses and light ice cream, it bounces the light around a lot. So you'll get almost an overexposure on it really easily. So ice cream, you've got maybe a couple minutes to take a picture. And if it's something with carbonation, I mean, you got to move fast. So have it all set up.
Yeah.
And then just shoot as many pictures as you can. One of them will turn out great. Not all of them.
I feel like I want to do one out on the patio. Like, hopefully there's a really nice day this afternoon, like this week, and I can get out after work and it'll be just perfect. I'll be out on the patio and I'll do my favorite ones. And now I'm dropping. I lost my cork. That's okay. I'm almost.
Sounds like a personal problem.
So this is my Amroot. This is a peated pork pipe. This one was exclusive to Western Canada from a few years ago. It's one of my favorites. So I'm putting that in with my chocolate and cherry because the peated in the port, and I'm going to use chocolate ice cream in this one.
And then what kind of top are you using for that one?
I was going to go, I think this one I was using my cherry Coke.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Put that somewhere where I'm not going to spill it. Let's put it back up here. And actually, so I've got my white cherries from our last one. I actually did get a couple of those. I'm going to throw one on top just as a thing.
You did really like those white cherries.
They were so cool. They're tasty. They taste like cream soda. All right.
All right, I need a glass. I think I'm going to make this in a Collins glass. I think that's what I'm going to do for this one.
My chocolate ice cream is starting to get melty. It's scooping into really nice little balls with this. I just went to Canadian Tire and picked up like Sarah was saying, a little scoopy cookies
Ice cream scooper or cookie.
a cookie scoop, and it works well for doing little small servings. I need my cherry Coke. Cherry Coke. Oh, and I forgot. I have this cutesy little bottle of Chambord.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yes, isn't that so cute?
I love that.
I feel like this is the kind of thing you just tie a string around it and hang it on the Christmas tree.
Yes. 20 of them, not just one, 20 of them.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, you make the whole tree covered in them.
Yeah.
So
Can you imagine a tree covered in
I'm not
minis?
an alcoholic. I just want pretty things.
covered in minis for your friends when they come over.
Actually, that, and of course, I've also got these cutesy little cutouts that I bought last year from somebody who had a one of those printer thingies for doing wood cut designs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a whiskey barrel, and it's designed to hold the little mini bottles of Jack Daniels. So I've got a few of those. So I'm like, I'm building up my Christmas decor. That's what this is all about. All right. And I found like the cutest little bottles of cherry Coke.
I think half the fun is deciding what kind of mixer you're going to put in.
We're all about those tiny bottles there. So I'm doing mine this time with, and I'm making one for William because he really wanted to try this one. I'm making this one with my Napoleon Castle, finished in the Barolo casks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very berry forward. And I'm going to be making it with black cherry vanilla ice cream. I've lined the glasses with chocolate.
Ooh, so pretty.
The cherry doesn't stay on top.
William is not a big fan of the Sprite and whatnot. I'm going to use Sprite on mine. So he wants me to make it with seltzer water. So we'll see how that turns out.
It'll be a lot less sweet, so it might be really good.
He's good with that because he's not a big sweet fan.
All right, mine has a little bit of rye whiskey, some rainbow sherbet, and some Prosecco on top. I'm going to let that sit for a minute.
I'm getting like this climbing head of...
It's going everywhere.
It's actually, it hasn't really started falling off yet. It's just like clinging to the side. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like the perfect little cascade.
Now you just have to reproduce that so you can take a picture.
Yes, that is all I have to do.
That's it.
He's good. See, I know that people sometimes get down on the whole mixing and cocktails and doing fun things with their whiskey because they feel like whiskey just needs to be whiskey. And as much as I can respect that and I appreciate it because there are days I feel like that, there are times too where I'm just like, you know what, this is too much fun. Like, don't you play with your food.
Oh, those look gorgeous. Okay, I need You got to taste test it and tell me.
This one's mine and this one's his. So
Okay.
take a picture of mine first, and then I'll taste test it. Okay. I want to make sure I get the things in there.
I like it.
All right, so now I'm cutting through the chocolate and releasing some of that cherry syrup that was frozen in there as well. Oh wow!
How is it with the cherry in there? Good.
So good.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those ones. That Amroot is the first peated whiskey that I really, really liked. I just fell in love with it, and it was the thing that really changed my whole trajectory when it came to peaty.
Mm-hmm.
And it just works so well with the chocolate. That peaty and cherry, and then the cherry Coke. It's and that little dash of Chambord. It's.
Can you put the ice cream back there? Thank you.
Perfection.
It is.
I
Thank
really
you, Steve. Okay, so you made an ooh face, Sarah.
I really like this.
Yeah, best one yet?
Yes, I think this is my favorite. I tried both mine and the one I made for William, because again, William's not big into all the sweetness, and so for him, he didn't want to use the Sprite. But his was a lot more bland than mine was. So I think this is a great mix. The cherry vanilla ice cream with the Napoleon Castle, it's a perfect match.
And remind me what you used for the seltzer, for the carbonated element.
I used Sprite on mine.
Yeah.
And it didn't bring forth too much of that citrusy that the lemon lime that it has. It's kind of blocked out by the ice cream, I think, which works for me. I just wanted the fizz, but I wanted a little bit of the sweetness that came with it.
You know, you could do a really fun garnish with that, just a whole skewer full of Luxardo cherries, and then take a picture of chocolate dripping down onto them in the glass.
I might have
like if you want to be totally extra with the picture for it, you could like totally stage that and have the dripping chocolate, covering and making it kind of messy. I mean, that always does well in feeds, right? The algorithm likes messy, drippy stuff. Okay, I have to tell you guys, this is really interesting. So it started out I used rye. I used Michter's rye, Prosecco, and rainbow sherbet, right? So it started out almost like a just slightly chilled, like rye champagne cocktail. But now that the sherbet is actually melting, it kind of tastes. Do you all remember those old-fashioned punches that people would have, where they would have all kinds of different, you know what I'm going to say here, right? And they would have big blocks of sherbet floating in them. Yes. So it's kind of becoming that, but a little bit more extra because it has Prosecco in it and not just Sprite. Like this is something that actually has something to it. But it kind of gives me that same feel of those old-timey sort of punches with the sherbet floating in them.
And see, that's what I was afraid of when I did my sherbet one, if I used the Sprite. I was afraid it was going to turn out to be kind of like that, which I'm glad that you were like, go with the orange, because I was worried about that, because I was actually telling William the other night, I was like, didn't you ever have that punch that you'd make?
I think it was bridal showers.
Yes.
And baby showers. That's where it was always bridal showers. And
the church social or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Answer, you're a little, but yeah, it's just sherbet and a bunch of Sprite.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will say using the Prosecco made it more tart. And so it reminds me of it, but it isn't that flavor, which I'm glad of, because that was not my favorite flavor. But it reminds me of that in a very positive way. Let's put it that way.
Good.
It's reminiscent without being overpowering or something, right? Like that has so much sweetness to it. That sort of
reminiscent without taking you down a bad memory.
Exactly. But I will tell you, if you all, I need to find those straws. Hang on. I've got new straws in the other room. I want to show you guys. Hang on 1 second.
This ice cream has chunks of cherry in it.
So
good.
Well, you know what? I bet you that would probably be really good with one of the new Jack Daniel's Bondeds.
Oh, that stuff's good.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
Flavor.
Have you all
nice with a cherry ice cream?
Have you all seen these kind of straws? Would they have the little bowl on the bottom?
Yes. I've seen Cocktail Chemistry, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick uses those all the time.
They remind me a little bit of the icy straws.
Mm-hmm.
The Slurpee straws that have the little opening at the bottom so you like scoop it.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they're perfect for floats.
I would think
because I can scoop and sip at the same time.
There you go. All right. Well,
I didn't even think about that.
I think I've got one left in me, and I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for a cup, but I had this when I was really little.
What is that?
It's a
Is
cup.
that a sippy cup?
It's a sippy cup. It's got a thing for a straw, and you know it's got.
I've never seen
cherry topping comes off, so you.
Oh, that makes me really happy.
It does. I'm like, oh.
That would totally win in any picture. You know that, right?
Oh, absolutely. That was part of the point with it. I'm like, and of course with the, where did I put a straw somewhere. Oh no, I used it. Okay. Oh, and it used to have a straw that actually was made to go with it. And I thought that my straws would fit, but they too big. That's what she said.
Damn it. So
maybe
close.
If I pull that out, if I just do in just the ice cream, I can fit it into the ice cream hole. I just can't do it with the cherry topping stuff on top. But I know.
Sarah, you're on mute if you're talking.
I said, yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. Teresa?
Nope.
It's too big.
Personal problem there. But anyway, you don't want to put the top on it because, I mean, I think it would look cooler if you were to be able to get the ice cream kind of and the foam kind of right there at the...
Like to mound it a little bit?
Don't really need the top for this. I think you're right. I think it would look best if I could get like that.
Yeah, do it. What are you doing? I don't have any more, so I'm gonna finish this.
I'm gonna do my tin roof rusted.
Okay, do it.
We're gonna watch you on that. I'm thinking I'm gonna try the I'm gonna try a spritz with some bourbon in it, but I'm gonna do a spritz topped with oh, you know what? I haven't used my Bananas Foster ice cream yet. That wouldn't work with that at all.
Did you use your Irish with the port? Or the
double oaked
porter,
I totally forgot. I had my mule cup. I was going to use this one for my Jamie and Ginger.
You're just going to have to make it again.
I might have to, because I found these on sale at like Home Sense, and they're like a whiskey barrel.
I really love those. Those are super cute.
Yeah, I'm like, if I'm going to have mule cups, these are just like too cute to not use.
Chat.
You know, I don't think I have a.
Hey, Hip Flask.
Are they in the chat too? Are they
We're
watching
this?
Hi.
Thank you for having this idea, because it gives us an excuse to make
ice cream and whiskey.
Yes.
We get together and play. Let's be honest. Yeah. What are we doing? We're getting together and we're playing. Yes. All right. So I am going to use the Bananas Foster ice cream, but I'm going to use the Irish whiskey. And I think I'm going to use some of my ginger liqueur and some of my.
I thought about using my ginger liqueur, but
Do you think creme de coco would go with that as well? No, I'm just going to use the ginger liqueur.
not with the ginger.
It would, but not with the topper I want to use. So, yeah, let me find my. Oh, here it is. Yeah, have you had the Big O ginger liqueur? Have you tried that one, Sarah?
No.
It's out of, it's made in St. Louis. I know it's available in Missouri. It's made in Missouri. It's it's got a nice bite to it. So you don't need a whole lot of it. And it does have a little bit of sweetness, but it's not super sweet like Domaine de Canton.
That's the one I have.
Yeah, that, which is a great one. This one's a little bit less sweet and a little more gingery. Because I personally really like it. All right, so I've got 1.5 ounces of the Whistler double oaked, 1/2 ounce of the ginger. I'm gonna get the Bananas Foster ice cream. Oh no, sorry, it's banana French toast. It's probably gonna taste like Bananas Foster to me anyway.
That sounds amazing anyway.
I know. I don't even know why you would make one or the other.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Banana and French toast.
Oh, damn spot.
So my choices in carbonation, that looks super cute. It mounted so well. Teresa, that looks so good.
Yes, this one I'm going full size. So I pulled out like the super, I mean business ice cream scoop.
The big scoop.
All right. And I added a little bit of my fizzy. So for my fizzy for this one, I'm using some Clearly Canadian Orchard Peach, which is basically a flavored seltzer. This was huge when I was a kid. Like this was one of my favorite things because it's not just soda water. It does have a little bit of sweetness in it. And they're so good. They've got some really great flavors. And a few years ago, they made a renaissance. I don't know if somebody bought the brand and reintroduced it or what the deal was, but I'm just so happy on so many levels that they did whatever it was that they did. So this has my long grow, which is 17-year-old. It's a smoky Scotch, but this one was finished for 7 years in Chardonnay casks.
Ooh. So is it smoky or is it peaty or is it both?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's Campbelltown, so it does have that Campbelltown funk that happens with it, but it's got this crunchy sweetness to it, which is really cool. And it was an Alberta exclusive brought in. All right.
Steve A was commenting on that Canadian club. Haven't seen that in years.
Really
Me
Canadian.
neither. We used to see them all over. I don't know if down here if they had them, but I know when I lived back on the East Coast they did.
All right.
That was awfully closer to Canada.
Yes. Okay, this is like totally going all messy on me, and I don't care because it actually tastes really good.
That's all that really matters.
It really
That's
is.
the thing when you're combining ice cream and whiskey is it's never going to look beautiful, but it's going to look fun, right?
And it's going to taste fucking phenomenal.
It is. Because what can go wrong with ice cream and whiskey, right?
I mean, everything can go wrong, but I mean, you get to eat your mistakes. So really, this is actually really good because it had been a while since I had worked with Drambuie. I hadn't made myself a rusty nail in forever. And so I was like, well, I've got to figure out what Scotch do I even put with this. And so I was trying out the Drambuie the other night and I'm like, ooh, this has almost like a fruity essence to it. And so that's why I thought, with and then the ice cream as well. It's got the Tin Roof Sundae ice cream. I don't even know what all is in it. It's just tasty. It's got chocolate and peanut.
Chocolate and peanut and
fudge. And I'm like, ooh, well, that goes well with like candied things. So, to do that with the Chardonnay cask, it's got that little bit of a sweetness to it as well, which
What's the must say, Heather?
He said yes. He loves this.
So which one? What did you make? I totally
You
was
made the
so proud
Irish.
of everything I was doing. What did you do?
I did Irish whiskey, ginger liqueur, a little bit of ginger ale-ish to ale 8, which is my ginger ale stand-in, and and just it and the banana French toast ice cream, which tastes like bananas Foster to me, quite frankly.
You're just living for that banana stuff tonight, aren't you?
I did not realize this would go so well with the banana. The Whistler. This is the Whistler Distiller Select Double Oat. Small batch, triple distilled. And it is really good with this bananas. But you know what else would be good with this would be the Old Forester 86. I think if I made it with the 86. I don't know. I keep thinking if I just had straight up cider, like a cider to go with the banana French toast, like an apple cider with the banana French toast and the Whistler, I think that would be a really nice combination because it would cut the sweetness a little bit, make it a little bit more tart because those ciders tend to be a little bit drier when they're apple cider.
Yeah, some of those strongbows would probably, you know what could be really good? If you could get like a ginger mead. Because mead, as much as it's made from honey, people always assume it's going to be really sweet, but it's not. Like part of the fermentation process, for those who maybe aren't as familiar, rum, they add sugar back into rum to make it taste sweet. And the reason is that the yeast, when it's fermenting, it actually consumes all that sugar. That sugar is fuel. So you really don't have a lot of sweetness, whether it's a mead, whether it's some sort of a distilled sugar solution, be it sugar shine or a rum. Those spirits on their own are not actually sweet, even though they're made from sugar instead of grain. And a lot of people don't realize that to get that sweetness back in, they're adding molasses, they are adding sugar, they are re-sweetening some of those elements. So we've got a meadery. They have a ginger mead that they do, and I use it to make deconstructed penicillins all the time. And well, as often as I make them anyways, that's what I use, and just elevates things. It adds that flavor, and it's such a fun way to do it. But anyways, that's my tangent. Here I am, you're talking about all the things you love and what you've built there, and I'm like, oh, I would use mead.
So I don't have anything else to build, so I'm just drinking whiskey now.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Woodinville PX.
I love Woodinville.
It's a PX sherry cask, and I was going to use this over the Napogue Castle. This sherry just brings out those berries to me. And William and I were talking about it, and we were talking about things to do. And we had some ideas because we have this in the sherry, the PX, but we also have it in Oloroso, the Woodinville, and
which would be more figgy, dried fruit,
and almondy, nutty with that Oloroso instead. Maybe like a pistachio ice cream.
Oh, that would be really interesting. Like a spumani?
Yeah, that was another. Ooh, I love spumani. That was another idea that we had. I didn't want to get too much ice cream in my house because I have a kid and that's all it's going to want to eat. So I cut myself off at 3, but
nice choice.
I think this would probably go really good with that cherry ice cream too.
Yeah,
Oloroso with the pistachio or even a more peanut or almond based ice cream.
You could
We
almost,
don't.
I was going to say like a Godfather kind of a thing, because that's amaretto.
Mm.
So some sort of a scotchy with a pistachio ice cream or
A
something.
blended scotch, yeah. Some kind of blend. That was
might be
nice
good.
and nutty.
That might be good.
You were making me think of. Nope, I lost it. You were talking about. Nope, totally gone. I have no idea what it was. But you were talking about different ice creams, and I went down a road of nutty ice cream in my head.
So I said pistachio or an almond based.
Maybe like a rocky road.
Now there's one that Baskin Robbins has over here, at least. It's called baseball nut, and it's a vanilla ice cream with a raspberry swirl and cashews in it. Now I think that might be good.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed with a lot of different things. Yeah, William's over there muttering under his bed. Be good with a lot of things. It's one of our favorite ice creams to get, but I don't know, with a wine cask finish, that raspberry and the nut to it.
Well, one thing I wasn't able to do tonight is I got some blackberry soda.
Ooh.
And I also have these lambic beers, but I couldn't really find a good berry forward whiskey that I have at home to go with these, especially with I have the raspberry lambic and the peach lambic. And those were two that with the peach lambic, I might use like Four Roses small batch. Sometimes gives me peach notes. Sometimes Woodford is soft enough that peach can kind of shine through. Just regular Woodford, not double oaked. And so those two I thought about combining with.
What about Glenmorangie Nectar
I was
Door?
just saying Glenmorangie.
Yeah.
Nectar Door would be,
yes,
I think would just be fantastic with something like that.
Or even like the Quinta.
Yeah, the Quinta Reuben.
I don't know if I have any of those at home. I'm looking up at my Scotch shelf and I don't know. I don't think I had those.
They are actually, so Glenmorangie has a little taster 4-pack, and instead of being 50 mils, they're 100 ml bottles. And it has the Nectar Door and the Quinta Reuben, as well as the 10-year and 18.
Yes.
I've got it up on my shelf. I'm staring right at it, and I've got an older edition of it, but
I have the Glenmorangie with the yellow label, and I'm not close enough to see it.
Think.
Did you knock it over?
Well, no, but I went to, so the base of my cup doesn't quite fit to the bottom, but I had it sitting positioned and it vacuumed itself in. So then when I lifted it up, it dropped. And now I've splashed like sticky ice cream stuff all over myself.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Okay.
Just leave it.
This is going to be fun. This could be.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to end up with ants.
Bleach.
Because that's how you get ants, right?
This is how you get ants. This is. Oh, Steve A is saying that the yellow is indeed the 10-year for the Glenmo.
That's what I have.
Yes.
That's the Glen that I have. I don't have the other Glen. I don't think I have the other ones that you all
would still be really, really good with some sort of something.
I was actually kicking myself earlier when we were picking stuff out because William's like, we don't have any Glenmorangie. And so we do, but it's not. We have this Spios up here. That's the finished in the rye barrels. I didn't know how that would go. It's completely different than like the Quinta and yeah.
Submission with Nectar Door, lime soda, and raspberry sorbet. So that sounds right on. That sounds right in line with what you guys were mentioning. Yeah.
That almost sounds like rainbow sherbet just deconstructed.
Right.
Exactly. Well, you know what I got? Let me show you the other ciders that I got. You guys can give me some ideas for those.
Sure.
Let's do that. Let's do it that way because that to me is really interesting. Let's see here. So I think before you got on, Teresa, we were talking that I had an orange cream cider. So this is an orange cream cider. And I was planning on using it on one of my popsicle cocktails, where I make a whiskey sour, top it with a popsicle, in this case, an orange cream cider, and then just put a little bit of this orange cream cider on top. And then I also have Black Widow cider, which is blackberries and apples. And then I had this Recorderling Swedish hard cider as well. So I got a couple ciders, which I didn't use tonight, which would have cut down on the sweetness. But I'm thinking these ciders might do better with a sorbet than an ice cream. What do you think?
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, that could work. Or maybe a gelato.
A gelato, yeah, but not a creamy cream. The
other thing I would think is that I don't know why, but I feel like those would work really well with some Highland scotches. Either Highland or Speyside. Like I think about like even something like Glenfiddich 12, right? Mm-hmm. It sometimes, especially if it's been open for a while, I get a white chocolate that comes through, but you get that real bready cereal flavors with the light fruit that tends to come through with those Spey and a lot of those Highland styles of the non-peated scotches, right? And I don't know, something about just the way that those ones were, those names, I'm like, ooh, I bet you that would be good, like pull out some Macallan and, that would, then you have something good to do with Macallan.
Sorry, I take it you're not a fan.
Yeah.
It's overrated. It's so overrated.
Macallan makes great scotches. They are very good at what they do. And they are very good at hitting what scotch needs to be for people who just want to say that they have a scotch. And they have some absolutely stellar production, but
it's so overrated.
It's just I feel like they command a higher price than what the value warrants. But if I could, if I had a choice between Macallan and Glenmorangie, I would totally do Glenmorangie every day of the week. But I wanted to pull up because you have this absolutely gorgeous photo on the front of your book that has a popsicle sticking into a cocktail. And I know that that was what we talked about last time you were on, which was actually our last show was in May. We skipped last month. There were just some logistical. Yeah, it's Sarah's fault.
I had the Rona.
She had the Rona.
Oh, is it all better now?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
it's gone. So the whole family had it. We're all better.
Oh, thank God.
So I know that tonight is not, this is not the focus tonight, but I couldn't help but you have a freaking popsicle sticking in a cocktail, and you are the Cocktail Contessa. So I wanted to make sure that we do at least tell people, go check it out. Bourbon is my comfort food. I don't know. I haven't looked through it enough. There isn't an actual, chapter on building whiskey floats in this edition, is there?
No, but I do have dessert cocktail chapter, which has some similar cocktails in it. But I did write a specific, but there's going to be an article in Bourbon Plus about whiskey and ice cream. So it's going to be some ice creams that are close to cocktails and some cocktails that have ice cream in them, and then some whiskey floats as well.
Okay. And so at Symposium, which is at the end of August for Bourbon Women, and Bourbon Women, the Symposium men are allowed to attend?
They can attend if they want. They'll be a minority. So as long as they're okay with being a minority, but it's largely women who love bourbon and whiskey of all types getting together and going on distillery excursions and
there's going to be a bourbon float pavilion, right? Like that.
Right? I don't know if we can pull that off at this late notice, but yes, I would love that.
Next year, if I attend, I expect
a bourbon float pavilion.
A bourbon float table, or
sponsored by Whiskey and Lipstick, right?
You're going to be the one manning it.
Oh, me? Wait, what?
Teresa.
Once
it's so bad.
Well, okay. Well, sure. I'll join Bourbon Women. I'll start the Canadian chapter of Bourbon Women because I talked about doing that like 8 months ago. So if I ever get around to doing that, then I'll do that, and I'll come and I will host we'll have bourbon smashes on one side and bourbon, floats on the other, and you
Love
can
it.
choose which way you want to go.
Love it, because
We
both
could
are
go
super
both ways.
easy.
You could
Yeah.
go both ways if you really wanted. Like, we'll have marble slab kind of thing set up. Do you guys have marble slab?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's called
They, like,
Creamstone Creamery down here. Yeah.
custom. Yes.
We have them both.
Where you custom make your own ice cream with all of the things in it, and
it's
then
gonna be up there like all like hibachi ice cream business going on.
totally we'll get a sponsor.
Exactly.
So along the lines of the Bourbon Women's and the symposium, if you are looking for information on it, I did post it on the Whiskey Crusaders Facebook, and I also posted it if you are part of Women in Whiskey on Facebook. I've posted it in there as well.
I have it in my link tree on Instagram as well. So go to my link in my bio, and it's got links to both the symposium as well as the Eventbrite for picking up tickets. It's Eventbrite, right?
It is. Thank you guys both for mentioning that. That's that's our big push. We're I think tomorrow is exactly 1 month to when we start. And we went from being a 2.5-day conference to now almost a 4 full day conference this particular year. So we are starting early with excursions and add on events on Thursday, and then Friday we start, and Thursday night we start in good faith and good earnest, doing cocktails and doing whiskey pours and tastings and excursions, and there's a lot of great whiskey workshops and sessions that are going to happen on session. Yeah.
Y'all are almost sold out too, aren't you? Like, you were getting pretty close, I think, a week ago when you were talking about it.
We still have some spots left, though. I will tell you, we've still got room. So go ahead and get your ticket now. But we do want, I would love to completely sell out, because I want everybody to experience it. There's nothing like sipping whiskey in a room full of women. So that's number 3 tonight, Sarah. That's the third cat that's made an appearance.
It wasn't on live stream, but she's looking for the bacon that is usually with a live stream, and I didn't have that this evening since we had all the ice cream. So
candied bacon with maple walnut ice cream,
not old-fashioned base.
Rye.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of soda though? Because we need a fizzy something. What would you put as a fizzy with something like that?
Almost an apple cider.
Ooh,
something a little tart.
Applewood smoked bacon. Applewood smoked candied bacon.
There you go.
I think that's how you tie it into the bacon. Yeah.
Yes, and then maple nut ice cream with an apple cider.
Oh, that's where I was going with that comment before, was coffee. We were talking about chocolate. I was thinking about the coffee notes in Guinness. So I was thinking about a coffee ice cream with some Foro Amaro, which is very coffee and chocolate forward to me, with a little bit of like a high proof whiskey, maybe Old Forester 1920. Maybe 1910. Actually, 1910 would be better because it's smoky. So Old Forester 1910 bourbon whiskey row would be great with that. And then top it. I don't know if I would go with apple cider. Oh, yes. Oak and Eden. Yes, right there.
Bourbon and brew.
There you go. And you could top it with like a nitro. You could either top it with a stout, right? Or some kind of nitro coffee that has the bubbles in it and the carbonation. That would work.
Good. I wonder, you could even, Jameson's has their cold press or their cold brew whiskey as well.
Yes.
Which is,
I have some of that.
I haven't tried it myself. I understand it's sort of like a liqueur, but it doesn't actually have the sugar added. So it's more of just a coffee.
It's not horrible. It's not horrible. I have it.
But it's not your favorite?
It's really not my favorite. I'm more of an ingredient, a Mr. Black type of.
So you like the sweeter liqueurs. So,
I like the sweeter.
Here's the thing. If you put that in there, yes, 100% John, yes. The smoky mezcal would go with ice cream. I actually pulled out a little mini of mezcal to go with it, right? So this is my Amaras Espadín. So anything that would go coffee or chocolate, I love little smoke with. So personally, I'm a huge fan of mezcal.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we'll have some of that Jameson on hand when you come in November.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to. I feel like it's an ingredient, right? Like that's. I see people posting about things, and this is maybe me having my pet peeves, and it's like, oh well, like, oh, sheepdog, it's peanut butter whiskey.
No, it's not. It's peanut butter flavored whiskey.
It's not even. No, it's a liqueur. It's a whiskey liqueur, right? Like it's 70 woof.
Because
they actually have like they have 70 woof, and they have the W crossed out with the PR. It's actually really cute. Because it's sheepdog. But like it's a liqueur. These flavored, call them flavored whiskeys if you want, but really they are liqueurs. They're intended to be more as ingredients in things. Like, you don't just sit there and eat a bag of flour. You don't sit there and eat a bag of sugar. You make them into things. And as much as, yes, eating, Chippets, chocolate chips is fun. When you put them into chocolate chip cookies, they're even better. Yeah. So like that's the thing. A lot of these.
Well, the way I would talk about it is they are ingredients in the same way that any liqueur is, right? So any flavored whiskey is not truly meant to be drunk on its own. It really shines best when combined with whiskey as a cocktail ingredient. So like Jameson orange is really big right now, right? Yeah. So yeah, exactly. We're on the same wavelength. I just walked into the liquor store and saw that right in the front. Jameson has the money to put their liqueurs right in the front, right?
Tastes like Tang to me.
Tastes like Tang. I haven't tried it yet.
Tastes like Tang.
But there's a place for that, right? So if you have something where you need a little spike of that sugar and that kind of almost artificial flavor to cut down on something that's way too serious. So like if I have a cocktail that's super serious and I want something that's a little bit more playful, I might reach for something that has that sort of little bit of artificialness, but just because it will kind of engage some of those sense memories from when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we can, as whiskey, we're all whiskey drinkers and we all love whiskey. So we can be very serious about whiskey, but we also need to embrace a sense of playfulness, like when we combine whiskey with ice cream, right? And I think whiskey drinkers tend to take whiskey way too seriously. And so if we want to be more open to more people joining our whiskey community and loving whiskey as much as we do, having that sense of playfulness with whiskey and ice cream or with whiskey and liqueurs is very important to draw more people into our community.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. We've been going for about an hour and a half now. And I mean, I still have ice cream. I still have whiskey, and I still have fizzy things. So I've run out of glasses, but I have.
I don't have any more chilled glasses either at this point.
I can always pull out the Glencairns and do something with the Glencairns, but I kind of feel like I'm going to have a sugar crash soon. So maybe we kind of think about so we talked a little about Symposium and Bourbon Women. So
and that's to get to that information, it's bourbonwomen.org. Okay. And to get to my personal website, it's cocktailcontessa.com. Okay. And so I was thinking about this before we started today, that I'm going to I'll do a post about some basic whiskey floats, and I'll talk about, vanilla or chocolate with root beer and whiskey, and maybe some vanilla and Coke, like a vanilla and Coke and like a Jack and Coke kind of float, and then a third to be decided later float. But I think that might be a nice thing to include, because since everybody is under this heat wave right now, I think it might be nice to include something like that on my blog. So I'm thinking about that. I haven't done it yet, obviously. This is going to be R&D for it, right? But putting something together about making floats in a way that's approachable.
I like it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I like it a lot.
Trying to copy and paste things because stuff.
Are you trying to answer chat?
I'm trying to.
Bourbon
Steve. See, there is Steve A. being all
Steve A.
perfect and admin-y. Yes, thank you, Steve. So
Thanks, Steve.
He's the wrench.
he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course your book again. We had you on in May as part of your launch. Totally worth picking up. Like you said, I mean, look at this. This is summer right here.
It's summer in a glass. Yeah.
So I think it's Dole has these banana, chocolate dipped banana popsicle things.
What?
And I am
Yes, they
loving
do.
those. And I'm like, ooh, I should like do that with some Jack Daniels.
Or Jack Daniels or Old Forester with those banana notes. That would taste fabulous. Like make a sour and then top. I love to top sours with popsicles personally. And then if it's a slightly, like if it's an oak heavy bourbon or whiskey, I put just a little bit of mezcal on top, or like a smoky peaty scotch, just to put a little bit of that smoke and remind you of what happens to the barrel as it gets charred.
Ooh. See, I would also, so last summer, I'm just going to see if I can quickly find the picture. It was a whiskey sour, and it was sort of a New York sour.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. And I topped it, instead of topping it with red wine, that's
not going to work.
What'd you top it with? I can't see that.
I topped it with frosé.
Ooh, good idea. Very good idea.
Looks good.
It kind of shows it to you there.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was a New York sour, but I called it frosé lemonade because that's basically what it was.
That does sound really good.
Like it was so.
Sounds pretty good.
That does sound really good. Yeah. I'm of the opinion that you can take any basic bourbon cocktail and top it with some Prosecco or a little bit of rosé or anything slightly fizzy and sort of take it up a notch. So if you're looking for something to do for a quick mimosa type drink for the morning or something a little bit fancy for a party when it's hot outside, make a sour, batch it, and then just put about a half a sour in the bottom of a glass, top it with some champagne or Prosecco, and you've got the equivalent of a French 75 with no work at all. I mean, you just pour in your sour, top it with rosé or Prosecco or, champagne, and you've got what looks like super fancy, but is also completely easy to do. It's very, very easy to do those.
With ice cream on top.
With ice cream on top. And I will tell you, I'm in charge of a cocktail for sip for the VIP tasting, which has some really special bottles in it. And I usually do a specialty cocktail. And I was discussing it as I was leaving my mom's driveway the other day. I was talking with her about cocktails, and I'm like, I should just do a scoop of sherbet and then a really nice sour and then some Prosecco. So I think that may be what we end up doing. It looks incredibly difficult, but if you batch everything together, it's just a 1, 2, 3 operation to put together. And it looks incredibly fancy because it would be in a glass kind of like this, like a coupe glass. You just put a scoop of sherbet, you put in a little bit of the sour, and then you top it with Prosecco and you're done. That's it.
Yep. Well, and sorbet is something too that if you wanted to get and do something fun as well, if you felt like putting in a little bit more effort, you can make sorbet fairly easily too, I think, right? Like it's
absolutely
like doing your frosé or that same kind of deal, right? It's you can make it as hard or as easy as you want.
Well, yeah, and I've been making a ton of bourbon slushies lately. I think it's the latest article on my website right now, and it's just a matter of getting the proof down low enough of the combination of ingredients that you can freeze it. And it's basically lemonade, bourbon, simple syrup, and a little bit of fresh lemon juice. I mean, that's it. You put it in the freezer overnight and you have a slushie the next day. So like, it doesn't, and like you can change out the simple syrup you use. Like I made one with blackberry syrup, which made it this gorgeous purple hued I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous. I made it with orange syrup. I've made it with blueberry syrup. So you can get all these different hues from it to make this gorgeous blueberry slush or whatever color slush you want. And it looks like you spent hours on it, but literally you just throw everything into a big container and you put it in the freezer for 4 to 8 hours. That's it.
Sounds
It's not,
nice.
yeah, it's perfect for summer parties because it does not take a lot of time to put together. All you do is put it in the freezer the night before. And when you're ready to serve, you fluff it up with some forks to make it all fluffy, and then you scoop it into a glass and you serve it. That's it. And it's a relatively low ABV cocktail because it has to be low ABV to be able to freeze.
Right.
So it's not something that's going to get people really riled up.
Quickly.
Well, and when it's hot in the summer, you really don't want. I don't know. Like I don't mind a hit you straight up cocktail kind of thing, but at the same time, you feel the heat more in the summer. So sometimes just having something lighter, especially if you're just chilling in the afternoon, I don't want something that's going to like lay me out and make me even more dehydrated. I just want something that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Like a whiskey float or a slushy.
Agreed. Yeah, come on to Texas. We're on like day like 30 something of over 100 degrees.
So y'all are crazy down there.
I don't come to Texas in the summer.
Yeah, you're doing it right by coming in November.
Yeah.
Teresa's going to be our house guest.
Yes.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, I've got all kinds of whiskey adventures planned this year. I've got, like I said, I've got Ontario with Jen in August, which is going to be insane because Ontario is hot and humid. It's sticky heat that just kind of like, so I'm not sure how I feel about that, but AC.
You'll be inside.
Yeah, I'll be inside. AC. It's a good thing. And then, November, I'm headed down to Texas, and that's going to be a lot of fun. If I could, I would go straight from Ontario to Kentucky and be there for symposium this year, but
we'll do next year.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. Well, you need to come to Kentucky anyway, so I can drive you around and get you into all the good distilleries.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a trip for us at one point in time.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the future. But
August 2023, expect 2 house guests because Sarah and I will be crashing at your place.
We're on it. We'll keep the kitten room clear.
Or, just more kittens.
Just put the kittens in there and we're good.
Just add the kittens.
If the kittens are anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks, you do not want to be in a room with kittens at night. That's all I'm going to say. You will not sleep more than like 30 minutes at a time.
Just lay there and let them crawl all over me.
Mm-hmm.
For maybe one night, but then the second night you'd be like, get the hell off of me. I need to sleep. I'm serious. You don't understand. Like I've tried to nap up there and it is impossible to nap for more than 30 or 45 minutes because they wake up and then they're just
kittens
crazy.
Need to be a minimum of 4 months old and then we will sleep in the kitten room.
You got it.
I used to be a vet tech, so I know what you're talking about.
You know the insanity.
Yes, taking care of any type of baby animal in general, and all the noises that they make when they wake up every couple of hours. Than that. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see about next year. We have a little family adventure at the end of May. We are going to Disney World for the first time.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
So we'll see how the funds are when we get back from that, decide what we do from there.
Totally get it, because that's an expensive trip. Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be fun and worth it though. He's 8 and he'll be 9. It'll be the perfect age for him. And we're going with his little BFF and their parents. So that's even better because they're going to experience it together. So, and awesome. We learned the last time we went in 2009 not to buy alcohol on property. Mm-hmm. My brother spent $36 on a 6-pack of Corona on property. So we will be taking an Uber or Lyft or whatever to a liquor store off property to buy our liquor, or we might just pack a couple bottles and be done with it.
They fit in a suitcase, and I'm sure you get lots of bubble wrap stuff like I do, so it's not going to be a problem.
And that'll leave us space to bring stuff back.
Exactly.
That we buy at Disney. That we won't be bringing those bottles back. So But yeah, lesson learned: don't buy alcohol on property at Disney World.
Wouldn't have occurred to me.
And that was in 2009. Can you imagine the inflation right now?
Oh
No.
$50 for a 6-pack.
Ooh, of Corona.
Yeah, no, just go buy a bottle of bourbon and take it with you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
That's it. Yes, what she said.
That's exactly what we're gonna do, I bet. I mean, they hit up a liquor store there, but it'll be cheaper at a liquor store than it is on property at Disney. So, but nope, not doing that again.
Nope.
So,
well, I've had a great time talking cocktails and whiskey floats with you guys. I hope you had a good time experimenting.
I have so many melty things that I'm going to. I just
melty things.
My tin roof, though, it's so good.
Teresa, what do you got going on? Anything important coming up that we need to know about? Housekeeping stuff out of the way here.
I think just stay tuned on Insta. I know Steve A was like just being a superstar there. He put everything into the comments there, so check those out. Towards the end of August, I will be in Ontario. I will be doing my Spirits of Adventure tour out there this year. I will be visiting some distilleries, including 40 Creek, Silver Fox, probably hitting up Gretzky Estates as well, and Falls, and then a half day with Dr. Dawn at JP Weiser's. So that is Jen. She was in the chat earlier. She has arranged for us to have like 6 hours of one-on-one time with Dr. Dawn. We're going to be touring the facilities, picking up the slack, and short skirts, long jackets.
Yes. Weezer. Cake. One or the other. I mean, they're like one. They're like
it was the 90s.
It's 90s, and I've had 90s 4 whiskeys tonight. So essentially, so follow Teresa on Instagram. She is on Facebook, but I have a feeling you're going to be posting most of that on Instagram.
Yeah, it'll double over to Facebook as well. So either or. Canadian Whiskey Smith.
Excellent. We don't really have anything out of the ordinary going on over at Whiskey Crusaders. I don't know.
Monday Night Live.
Yeah, that's ordinary. I said out of the ordinary. Tomorrow night we do have a Monday Night Live, and if I am not mistaken, we are having one of our wonderful followers and donators of all the Kirkland bottles, Eric Evanson, on, and we will be having Kirkland night with Aaron Williams sitting over there shaking his head. Yeah, I'm right. I remembered. We will be having Kirkland night with him and drinking through all. I mean, this man has sent us I've lost count of how many Kirkland bottles he sent us, and they're all excellent. If you haven't had Kirkland, it's out of Costco, which we have Costco here, but we don't have this particular brand in Texas. So he will be on, and we will be going through all of that. And then we have our normal drop on Tuesday, Thursday, and liqueur drop on Saturday. And that's all I got for now.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Again, check out Cocktail Contessa on Instagram. Keep an eye out for Bourbon Women if you are interested in the Siporium.
My book. Oh, wait, sorry. That one.
And then also check out the book
on Amazon, right?
On Amazon, or available at any independent bookseller. You can order it through any independent bookseller at all. I know it's available in Louisville and Lexington and Kentucky locations. I'm at Jim Beam. I just dropped a bunch of books off at Willett. I think they ordered me at Michter. So various distillery locations in Kentucky as well. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah.
I like to hear that. So check that out, especially if you're into cocktails.
Or talking other people into drinking bourbon through cocktails, which is how most people get into bourbon. Let's be honest.
It's true.
It is.
All right. It has been fun. Thank you all for hanging out. Heather, thank you again for joining us. We always truly love having you on. We always learn good things. We always drink excellent.
We always have so much fun. Let's just be honest. It's just a fun time when we guys hang out. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me on. Let me talk cocktails for a little bit. You always surprise me with what you come up with. It's so thoughtful what you put together in terms of cocktails. I love listening to what your ideas are and seeing them in execution. You always say you don't do cocktails, and then you come up with really fun stuff every time. So I don't think you should say you don't do cocktails.
Let's rephrase it. I don't regularly do cocktails. Like if I'm sitting at home, I'm not going to make a cocktail. But now I think like if I, hey, does anybody want to try this really cool ice cream float? Because good. I'm gonna bring this over to my parents' house. My mom's not a huge whiskey drinker at all. She can't get past the burn yet. My dad loves bourbon, but I bet you she would probably like these floats.
She likes ice cream.
She would love it.
She does.
She would love it. Yeah,
she does.
She would love it.
So, and hip flask hike. Yeah, it's a mouthful, man.
Hip flask
When you've been drinking, it's hard to say, isn't it?
Especially if you've been drinking. I think you did that on purpose. It's fun. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with us too. It was a lot of fun. I love this idea. Look forward to doing it again next year too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Right. We'll see you next month for sure.
Cheers and good night.
Cheers.
Good night.
Good night.